Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is May the 10th, 2023, and today the topic is manifesting a lowly heart. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Happy Wednesday. I hope that you all had a great day yesterday. Mine was just fine. There's a few things that happened yesterday. My husband got his car back, so to God be the glory for that. Um, I got some other stuff going on around here, so just in case y'all hear something going on in the background, some fans or whatnot going, we're getting some little work done on the house or whatever. And I was going to turn them off, but I'm like, okay, I don't want to touch these folks' fans. I don't know. So I don't know what I'm doing because I don't know if I'll be able to turn them back on. So that's what that is. If you guys hear humming in the background. But so that was something that happened yesterday. Also, I want to give a shout out, man. I want to give a shout out to Miss Jill Schultz. She's going to be a future guest on the GSL Talk Show. I interviewed her Monday, I think it was, and she decided to give a donation to GSL. So to God be the glory for that. Listen, y'all, I've been telling y'all, I've been calling this whole year Abundance 2023, but I'm over here like, man, this is crazy because like you read the word, right? You read what the Bible has to say about speaking over your life, and there's power in the tongue and all these different types of things. But then, like, when stuff really be happening, at least for me, it still blows my mind. And I'm over here like, what? So the fact that guests have been donating, one of my cousins donated, like it just, when stuff like this happens, it just continues to blow my mind. So thank you to Miss Jill for your donation and, coming to visit us on the GSL Talk Show. Y'all should see her episode within the next few months. And yeah, man, that happened yesterday, and definitely unexpected, but definitely appreciated and everything like that. Actually, I would say that our conversation kind of inspired today's juice. Because during the conversation, she asked me, do I practice manifesting and things like that? And I was telling her that I don't necessarily, go out of my way to be like, oh, I'm manifesting this or that, and I know that people say that a lot these days. It's like, oh, I manifest this, I manifest, they say that, right? So I'm familiar with the term, at least, and to me, it actually makes me think about in this moment, The Secret. Y'all probably have heard of this book called The Secret. And for a long time, back in Florida during the cultivation period, right? I had someone that kept like asking me, "Have you read it? You need to read it." Da, 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 da. And I'm like, okay, didn't know if it was like kind of mysticism or whatever the case is. But she ended up giving it to me to read, and my friend at the time, and so I read it and whatnot, and I just was like, this is just talking about faith. This is talking about speaking things into existence and things like that I have heard about over the years, as a believer, as well as, as a evangelist child and things like that. I mean, I always heard about speaking over your life, right? I always heard about, speaking things in faith and doing things in faith and things like that. And so, like I was telling Miss Jill the other day, I was like, so I continue to do that, right? I continue to speak in faith, right? Again, I told y'all last year that I felt like God was going to be changing things for me financially, and I needed to get ready and be a good steward and things like that. And in faith, I proclaimed that this year was going to be Abundance 2023. Now, did I know that, one of my guests would make a donation? No. Like, did I know that I was going to get the job at the church? No. Like, I didn't know any of this stuff was going to happen, like, for sure. But I guess the Lord was preparing me for it, right? And so that's the thing. On one hand, I mean, again, this whole talk about manifesting and all that, it's like, I feel like, when you practice biblical principles, even if you want to call it something else, like you're going to get the fruit and the results from practicing those biblical principles. So if you're speaking over your life, right, if you're proclaiming, the things that God shares with you about, and things like that, if you speaking in faith and working in faith and doing things in faith, whatever the case is, you're going to see results. Like what I was talking about yesterday, work works, like, and everything like that. And faith works. So I was thinking about that a little bit this morning, basically. And at some point, I mean, I was looking into a lot of different things because I woke up this morning early, and I looked up the verses centered around that and the Strong's Concordance centered around that. And like I said, sometimes maybe stuff is just for me, because I didn't feel led to go deeper to, actually present that type of stuff to y'all. So, I'm sitting here, seeking the Lord, listening to the prayer meditation, all that different type of stuff. And I was seeking the Lord about like what is, today's topic and stuff like that. And ultimately, I started thinking about the whole manifesting and all that type of stuff. And because the interesting thing is when I looked up manifesting, the definition didn't really reflect like what people are saying these days. And I started to focus more so on what the biblical definition of, and it just pretty much was saying like I didn't even write it down because not to say it wasn't significant, but it just, I just didn't end up writing it down. So y'all can look that up, look up the definition of manifesting and things like that. But yeah, it just was like to appear or something like that. It just was like to make it known or make it seen or something like that. And I'm just like, okay, then I ended up going, to my different references, right? I went to like gotquestions.org and, looked up manifesting, went to calm.org, looked up manifesting. And again, nothing of significance was standing out to me. When I looked up on gotquestions.org, it mentioned something about like, some paranormal activity type stuff in regards to some different articles centered around that. But it didn't really even talk about any of the things that we, again, hear that people say when they talk about, oh, I'm manifesting, da, 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 da. And on one hand, I did feel that to be like, okay, well, because I've been speaking over my life, I do believe that that's why these things are happening. That's why people have, I guess the Lord puts on people the hearts to bless or whatever the case is, right? And, I was going to share that today. And yes, there is power in that and stuff. But ultimately, it was something as I looked into, basically the phrase lowly heart stood out in my mind, or lowly, because, okay, there was something else I had looked into this morning that when I looked at it, God's heart stood out to me. And then when I looked up something else, in the scriptures or whatever, it was talking about the lowly heart. And so I ended up putting in on openbible.info, I ended up putting in manifesting a lowly heart. And those verses were standing out to me in regards to sharing for this conversation. I didn't know if the topic was going to be called that and whatnot, but I feel like God confirmed that in my heart and mind. Once I finished writing down the verses, he's like, yeah, it's manifesting a lowly heart. So I was like, okay, it's manifesting a lowly heart, y'all. And I guess a secondary topic or a second tagline or whatever you want to think of is the heart of Christ. So let's get into this, y'all. Let's get into this. If we're going to be manifesting anything, I believe the Lord wants us to manifest a lowly heart. So here we go. Matthew 11:28-30. It says, come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden. I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So that's where I got the phrase lowly heart from. Like I said, it stood out in another search. And when I, he said I'm lowly in heart. When I look up the definition of lowly, and you guys can do all of this as well, because I didn't feel that right now. No definitions today. But it pretty much was talking about like humble and things like that. And yeah, that's what I'm feeling like overall after I did all of the, writing down the verses and I guess my study this morning, what I'm overall receiving is that this is what I guess we need to be manifesting at the end of the day. Like, yeah, you can speak over your life and, and feel like you're manifesting all your goals, your dream, whatever. But, what does your heart look like at the end of the day? I think that's what really, really matters. And I guess that's what I feel like the Lord is telling me to share this morning. So here I am. Here I am, humbly, look, lowly in heart, trying to share and everything like that. But yeah, let's keep going, y'all. So in Matthew 5:8, it says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." So, manifesting a lowly heart, manifesting a pure heart. I'm feeling like this whole heart thing is important because it pretty much controls any aspect of your life. Like if your heart is hardened, right? And if you're someone that's like, oh, again, what's the point of morals? What's the point of values? What's the point of this or that? Like if you have a hardened heart, right? But then if you, have a heart that can be, cultivated and whatnot through God, then he can use you, right? You can do plenty of good, work and whatnot for the kingdom and whatnot. So your heart matters at the end of the day. Like what it matters on if you're going to receive Christ and all of that. So yeah, manifesting a lowly heart. Now, look, I'm not going to lie to y'all. When I was writing these verses down this morning, I'm like, okay, I guess God's going to put it all together and then make it make sense or whatever the case is. And I guess even as I sit here and share the verses now, things are making a little bit more sense to me that, like at the end of the day, yeah, the heart is a big, well, first of all, the Bible has a lot to say about our hearts, right? It says, our heart is sick. I've read verses that say that, and everything like that and whatever. But it's just something to think about, y'all. We got to think about like what is the current status of our heart. Like I think I talked about this a long time ago, but it's like maybe we need to do like a little heart check, to know what is the current status of our heart and where we should be, and everything like that. I'm gonna keep going with these verses, y'all, because I know y'all probably like Miracle just be talking. So here we go with some more verses. Proverbs 4:23. It says, "Keep your hearts in vigilance, for from it flow the springs of life." Yeah, I think I might have. Y'all can go and read the verse for yourself and make sure I read it right and everything, or said everything correctly, because I don't know if I just wrote in a weird way. But anyway, that's what I'm seeing here. Keep your heart in vigilance, for from it flow the springs of life. There might be something missing in between keep your heart and then vigilance. So look at that for yourself, y'all. But I guess what stands out to me the most, though, is from it flows the spring of life. And like I said earlier, this what's going to determine like what you do in life, like, the status of your heart. Like, is it hardened? Is it ready to receive the things that God has? Like, yeah, we can go deeper with that, y'all. But yeah. So then Psalm 51:10, it says, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me." I hope that this is all of our prayer today. Yeah, if you, for example, if you're feeling like, man, maybe my heart is a little hard right now. Like maybe, I do need to, be a little bit more open to the things of God, or whatever the case is. Like, make this your prayer today. And I believe that, you'll start to see different things happening in your life, look, manifesting in your life or whatever, based on that, like based on your willingness to renew your heart and mind. You guys can go deeper. There's a few verses in the go deeper section that, hopefully will help us with that and whatnot. But one of the verses that I felt led to share right now is Isaiah 66:2. It says, "All these things my hands have made, and so all these things came to be, declares the Lord. But this is the one who I will look, he who is humble and contrite in spirit and trembles at my word." So at the end of the day, God's like, I made everything, everything is going according to my plan, but the ones who I'm paying attention to is the ones that's trembling at my word, who's humble. And I wanted to look up that definition of contrite, but I did not. So let us all do that and go deeper and whatnot to, get a full understanding of contrite in spirit. But yeah, y'all, I mean, this is ultimately the juice this morning. Again, yes, I felt led to share with you guys in regards to, again, the different things that have been manifesting in my life, right? The proclamation of my life that I'm like abundance 2023. And then next thing I know, all kinds of things are abundantly happening. Thank you all as well to those that were celebrating with me about the announcement with Mom Bomb and everything like that. Y'all can look up them on my website and whatnot. And yeah, there's a lot of exciting, really cool things happening and whatnot. And yes, on some hands, I could be like, oh yes, I manifested this by proclaiming that it was abundant 2023. But at the end of the day, I think that there isn't anything wrong with, again, applying biblical principles to your life, and whether that's quote unquote manifesting, or that's speaking over your life, or just working in faith, walking by faith, things like that. But overall, right, the important thing is, I guess, is our hearts at the end of the day, and are we receptive to this message of Christ and what he wants to do with us, for us, and through us. And y'all, that's the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is Colossians 3:13. It says, forbearing one another and forgiving one another, if any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. Friends, I hope that you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, that juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. There you go, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice. Thank you all so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing all of those wonderful things. Last time I looked, I think we're at like 555 people that are subscribed to us right now on the channel. So thank you to the 555 of y'all. Greatly appreciate any and all support in any aspect. Again, shout out to Miss Jill Schultz. You guys can look her up, I believe, JillESchultz.com. And find out more about her. But her episode should be coming out in the next few months. But man, to God be the glory, man. It's just, it just blows my mind all the time, like the different things that are happening. And all I can sit here and share over and over again is, at the end of the day, I'm just one person just out here just stepping out on faith, walking by faith, speaking in faith, like trying to do my part or whatever. And I guess the Lord just puts on people's heart to, do their part and whatnot. And it just goes and flows just like that. Because on the flip side, what you guys sow into GSL is not just like for me. Like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, y'all know there's the International Dream Team that's on board, people in Pakistan, the young lady in Kenya, things like that, and then of course I always right now I still tied to my mother's organization, Inspirational Outreach, and everything like that. And so, whatever is given to me, even if somebody just buys a book or whatever, a piece of it goes to that ministry and stuff. And so, and then there's other ministries and whatnot that I sow into as well. And so that's the thing, at the end of the day, like, it just goes and flows, and it's just a blessing to be a blessing, and it's a blessing to be blessed as well. And so I thank each and every person. We do have monthly supporters as well. So I thank you, those individuals again that are supporting us monthly. And like I said, even if it's 99 cents a month, I'm not looking down on nothing, because at the end of the day, one, it adds up. Two, I'm thankful that people see something in us, right? They see the fruit, I guess, that comes from us. And they, I guess, believe in us, whatever the case is, to donate in any capacity. And I appreciate that. Even this morning, not to say I didn't feel like, because it was interesting. I forgot to tell y'all this on the juice, but basically, I guess this is after show talk. This morning I woke up and I felt like it was Sunday. I was like, when I woke up and I looked at the clock, I was calculating in my mind, like, how much time I got before I need to be at church. And I was like, wait, today ain't Sunday. I ain't got nothing to do today. So that was interesting. Interesting thing. I had an interesting dream last night as well, but I didn't write any of that down, which I know I need to get better about. I need to be writing down all my dreams and stuff because, man, funny thing. Okay, so I was out having a conversation with one of my friends yesterday, and we were just talking in general, and she said something that made me think about the dream that I told y'all about the other day about me and my husband and my son, and I told her about that dream. And then we talked about something else, and then when I looked up something for her in the Strong's Concordance, that reminded me that the dream that I had before the dream, when I know this will sound great, the dream before the dream, the dream that I had before the dream I had about my family is a dream about her. And I had forgot about it until that moment. And we were talking about different stuff. And I guess in different, because she's been saying certain numbers have been standing out to her and whatnot. And so I was like, wait a minute, I think I got something for you. And I told her what the dream had said it, and she was getting like some revelations from that. And it's just, man, it's just amazing, like the different things that are happening. And I can't remember why I'm telling y'all that now. I was about to tell y'all something in regards to that, but either way, but basically, yeah, that's something else that was interesting that happened yesterday. And oh, that's why I need to be writing down my dreams. Basically, yeah, I need to be writing down my dreams and stuff more often, because if I can try to remember what I was dreaming last night, I'm gonna go ahead and try to write it down, because yeah, like God is speaking to us, man, and we need to just be listening and tuned in, and you just never know like when you're going to need that word or need that confirmation for, it might be confirmation for somebody else or whatever the case is. I know a lot of times when I dream, it's me in the dream, but sometimes I believe that it's not even me. You know what I mean? It's not for me fully. It's for probably for somebody else. And so it's very interesting, y'all. I hope that you guys are tapping into, again, the things that God is doing in this season. Again, this whole manifestation talking, all this stuff. I mean, hey, there might be something to it. Now, when I started looking up Bible centered around it, I mean, it ain't much that I could find, honestly. But in regards to being like saying something specifically about like when you do this, then but I mean, there is plenty to be said about like speaking life, right? And not speaking death over your life, and you know, things like that, and, or the things that you say being important, because it's life and death is in the power of the tongue and things like that. And so yeah, like I said, I had to take out some words out of my vocabulary. I had kept saying a certain word, or I guess the Lord had showed me last year, I kept saying a certain word over my finances or whatever, and I had stopped saying that word. And now that I stopped saying that word, you know, hey, I don't know. You know, things are changing and stuff. So there's something to it, you know, not taking anything away from, you know, manifestation or whatnot. I mean, if that helps you to get on board with the things that God want to do again with you, for you, and through you, by all means, you know. But I just call it speaking, you know, over your life. I call it, you know, operating in faith, walking by faith, things like that. I try to stick to biblical principles and whatnot. But anyway, but manifest ain't a bad word or nothing. So everybody need to be, I guess, led by you know, their own heart and mind according to biblical principle. I'll put it like that. But anyway, all right, well, y'all, have a great Wednesday. I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. And thank you to the person that tuned in live and stuck it out with you, girl. I hope that all is well for you. And thank you for tuning in. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.